Hello, Sapna. How are you today?
Very well, thank you.
So, I know you've been in the education profession and you've been an educationist for a long, long time. Let's hear a little bit about your journey. How did you get started and what have you been up to recently?
My journey has been very long, where I have reached now. My husband was in the government sector and we were posted in very small places. I have always been very fond of children, but I never thought that I would get into education at any given point of time.
Mhm.
So once we moved to Delhi, there was a friend of mine who she was teaching. And then she said, why don't we both start? And at that time, there were no educational equipment or educational aids for children to teach them different manipulatives or any kind of activities.
Mhm.
So she said, why don't we both start a business like that? And that kind of appealed me a lot because my kids were small and I thought, while sitting at home, we can create something in education.
Mhm.
So we started doing that, and that was really nice because we really enjoyed ourselves. Then we used to go to schools, we used to interact with teachers, educationists of all kinds, and we used to tell them how they could use it. There were math equipments, there were science equipments, there were manipulators for hands-on equipment. So that was the first journey into.
So, an entrepreneur in education, that was.
Yeah, that was kind of an entrepreneurship, and that was the first leap into education.
Yeah.
Then, in the process, we had got posted to Washington, D.C. My husband had got posted to Washington, D.C. And I got an opportunity to teach in a school which was for specially ADD and ADHD children, for mildly learning disabled children. And that was an insight into class learning, class teaching actually. And that was a tutor training program. So what I was doing was I was one of the tutors while on site teaching children who were about say 7 to 8 years old and on a one-to-one basis, and I really enjoyed it. That was something I thought that was my passion then.
That's when you discovered that you really wanted to continue.
That was, I think, the first step into teaching in a classroom.
Mhm.
And then after that, I applied to become a class teacher for a regular school, not really learning disabled. It was an inclusive educationist school where all kind of children came in. And I was surprised I got a job without having a degree from US. And I got a job as a class teacher in one of the preschools. And that was, I think, my first step, my first journey into becoming an educationist and getting into teaching. And I still kind of have such good memories of those children. I learned so much while being in that journey. So
And I believe now you were a teacher still, and now you're doing more of the librarian learning. So
it's actually not a library. So I joined the British school after coming back to Delhi, and I have been a class teacher for, and it's an international school where we are teaching national curriculum of UK. So I was in that teaching space, and then I love books. So then I decided that I want to do something where I can do literacy through books. So then I went into the library space and they started a new program in which we were delivering literacy program, based on all kind of books. So author studies, learning creative expressions, learning creative writing. So that's what I'm teaching now. And I teach small kids from ages 4 to ages 8. And I love teaching them. I love the responses that I get. And I think every day is a high when I'm working with these small kids.
So really, it's okay to say that you've been an educationist, but you've been in the creative education space, which spans from entrepreneurship to specially able children to regular classrooms to literacy and a lot more. That's
Of
fantastic.
course, absolutely. I like creating my, and because I don't like to work with a anything which is kind of a closed approach, so I like to create more stuff. So I love this fact that I get this ability to create any kind of stuff with whatever books I'm able to find with the
Fantastic.
authors and all that.
So also I know you are a grandma to two cute kids. How has that journey been? And share some learning from it.
So I love kids, like I just told you in the beginning. And the first time when I became a grandmother, my God, that was a miracle. I remember my first grandchild when I was there to hold her when she came out, and it was an absolutely joyful moment, which I cannot even describe. There are no words to describe that moment. And I have seen both my grandchildren growing up in our eyes, because fortunately they were living in the US earlier and they moved to India when my second grandchild was just about 3 months old. And now he's 2 years and the older one is about 5.5 years. And I've seen them growing. I cannot describe the joy, the pleasure, the happiness that these children give to all of us. You know, it's a really growth journey for all of us to grow as grandparents. And I think as a grandparent, I've realized that I have much more patience. Probably I did not have so much as a parent. And I don't think they can do anything wrong, my grandchildren. I don't think I need to kind of. The best thing about being a grandmother is I don't need to reprimand them. I don't need to, make them do understand anything. I just have to sort of just love them and give them the best love that I can ever give them. It's such a joy to have them in the house. The whole atmosphere of the house changes, and there's just kind of, it's like it's a fantastic atmosphere when they come. I love it. I love the fact that I'm a granny.
Great, great. I'm sure they love you as a granny too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.